cool. And I've got
Who
some
do you
fun
have?
stuff today, and you know I
Yeah.
work at OTB, so I've
Yes.
got some OTB related stuff. I work in
Off-track betting.
off-track betting, customer service, and I've got Director of Sales and Marketing Andrew DeNova, I believe, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, and Jeanne Wood, who is a handicapper, and she does horses and courses on the channel. And also I have radio host Fernando Jimenez. He does a salsa, merengue, and reggaeton radio show on Saturdays. So I'm going to talk to him as well, so you don't want to miss that. But we're going to show a clip from Horses and Courses, and I'll be back with some OTB employees. So you don't want to go anywhere. We shall be right back.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Horses and Courses, brought to you by Parting Glass Racing. I'm Jeanne Wood. We've just finished a busy weekend of stakes racing action, and we'll begin things down in Florida, where on Saturday they had the Summit of Speed at Calder. We'll start things out with the Bob Humphrey Turf Sprint for older horses.
And they're off, and a perfect start. Square Deal showing speed, and a lot of speed from Rusty Charlie as well. Here's Chahuliki joining him from the inside. It's Rusty Charlie a half a length. Chahuliki in the second spot. Square Deal settles down third, then Safety Squeeze. Under contract the far side, maybe caught about 4 or 5 wide into the turn. Tahoe Warrior is locked in down on the inside, now a joint fourth and only 3.5 lengths from the lead. Then the gray gelding Lord Robin, and the trailer is Bernie the Maestro as they wheel around the far turn. Chahuliki and Rusty Charlie. Chahuliki inside. Rusty Charlie now between runners as Square Deal joins them 3 right across the course, with Tahoe Warrior tipping out to the center of the track for his stretch run. Chahuliki just in front. Square Deal, Tahoe Warrior, Lord Robin the far side. Here comes Tahoe Warrior. Tahoe Warrior and Edgar Prado now sweep onto the front, and it's Tahoe Warrior fresh off the claim to win the Bob Humphrey Turf Sprint. Chahuliki was second best. Lord Robin was third.
Tahoe Warrior picking up the victory, coming out of a $20,000 claiming performance, out of which he was claimed by Rudy Rodriguez. He scores his second victory in a row off of that $20,000 win. They decided to make the investment, send him down to Florida, and it was a profitable one at that, as he scores by 2 3/4 lengths over Chiluki with Lord Robin, who has been a mainstay down in Florida for many years, completing the order of the top.
Show, Jeanne.
Good to be back.
Nice to have you. And Andrew, or Drew, you go by Drew, right? DeNovo. You reach over. Nice to meet you. And you're both from Capital OTV, which I work for Capital OTV in customer service. So it's a pleasure to have you on. And we're going to talk a little bit about OTV. We have an exciting Saratoga racing coming up, and we just took a look at Horses and Courses. Now tell us, what is Horses and Courses? Because you host that. Is it every week you host it?
It's a weekly program.
Okay.
It is recorded. We gather together all the best stakes races they run over the course of the weekend, put them all together. So, you know, if you miss some of the races, some of the good races you wanted to see, it's a great way to catch it. You can catch it on Tuesday morning on TV 12.
So it's a way to catch up on the biggest races of the week.
Exactly. And it's, you know, it's about an hour long, so it's one, you know, a short package of time there. And we'll be doing it, continuing it through the Saratoga racing season. It'll be airing 2 different times during Saratoga.
Okay.
It'll be on Tuesday morning. I'm consulting my schedule, which my boss has given me, 11 o'clock on Tuesday morning.
Okay.
And then again on Thursday morning, it'll be at 10:30. So a couple of times if you've missed the previous week's Saratoga
that's exciting.
racing,
So
there you go.
how long has this show been on?
Oh, it's been on for a long time. I've been doing it for almost 10 years now.
10 years you've been doing it. Are you the first host of this show?
No, we had a couple of other people doing it over the course of years before I came.
Before you came in, you're probably one of the longest running hosts of it.
I think so, yeah.
Maybe the longest
I might
running.
be by now. I'm not sure. I'd have to look that up.
How did you get involved with OTB?
Well, I was hired into the marketing department, not by Drew, who was
Not
also
by
a
Drew.
friend, but by a previous marketing director, Dick Powell, and he had me doing some handicapping and some different things out in the branches and so forth, and I really enjoyed it. And you know,
So were you a
the
horse
job
racing
has
fan?
changed a little bit, but that's fine.
Yeah, they always do, don't they?
They do.
So were you a
But-
horse racing fan all your life? And
Yeah.
that's how you got involved with horses?
Yeah, I started riding horses when I was a little girl.
So you're actually riding
So I
horses?
do ride. I still
Okay.
ride, yeah. And then When I was 10 years old, I had the chance to see Secretariat in person, and that was it. That was all I needed to see. I thought that was just the coolest thing. And started going to the races in the afternoon, and you know, that was.
So did you work your way up in OTB to be on television? Or did you kind of go right in?
I kind of got right into TV. I hadn't really done much of that kind of thing. I had done some public speaking sort of work, so I was a little bit well versed in that, but I had never actually done much on camera.
And you are a handicapper, so tell us, what is a handicapper for those of us who don't know what that is?
My job basically is to do selections, just to kind of give the casual fan a little bit of guideline, a little bit of advice in terms of what horses might be worth a little bit of a look if they're planning on betting. Obviously, a lot of our customers are very experienced handicappers. They know what they're doing. They don't need me to tell them who to bet.
Right.
But, you know, there are also some people that are kind of casual about it. They want to pick up the racing form on a, you know, maybe they're home from work one day, or they've got a sick day, or you know, child is homesick and they're home with them, and so they want to look at the races. And, you know, they're not that hardcore. They don't study it that well. It might be kind of, you know, that's a little bit of help for them.
You? Do you do your homework on this?
Oh, yes. I most certainly
she has to do her homework.
I do. As a matter of fact, just to show you, while I was waiting for the show to start, I was over there working on some of my handicapping. I've got the daily racing form here.
Your picks. Now, why the passion for horse racing? Why do you enjoy the sport so much? Because it is a sport, isn't it?
It is. It's a, you know, it's a business, but it's a sport. It's, you know, it's just something, and I think having grown up around the Capital District, where you've got Saratoga, which is, it is the only national level sporting event that takes place in the Capital District. We don't have a baseball team. We don't have a football team. I mean, we've got some minor league stuff, obviously, but we don't have an NFL team. We don't have, you know, the NBA or anything here in the Capital District. But we have Saratoga, and this is truly world-class, top-of-the-line horse racing. So, you know, it's kind of like if you grow up in the shadow of Shea Stadium or Yankee Stadium or something like that, you become drawn to it in a sense. And I started going when I was a little girl.
And they have tracks all over the country, even outside the country, with Australia racing.
Yeah, we carry some of the international racing on the network as well. So.
And what is your accuracy with your selections?
It depends. You're going to put me on the spot right now. It depends. It goes, you know, like everything else. It's kind of like a batting average. It's streaky. You know, someday, you know, you'll go through a period where you do very well. Other times, not so much. The other program that I've been doing lately is a Pick 4 program, and the Pick 4 is a specific bet. It's 4 consecutive races.
The winner of 4 consecutive races.
Yeah, and it's kind of like 2 consecutive daily doubles, but you got to have it all on one ticket.
Right.
And it's a little harder to hit because it is a little trickier. I've got to get a approximate $50 bankroll every day, so it's not easy to hit. But there are many days when I'll have 3 out of the 4. You know, I went for a period there where I was hitting it almost every third day, and then I went through kind of a dry spell.
And then you go through a dry spell. I would imagine that even choosing the winner for one race is difficult, let alone for 4 in a row.
Yeah, it can be a little bit tricky, and it depends on how competitive the races are. But
and I know that the favorite doesn't always come out, does it? It comes out, I think I've heard like 30-something% of the time.
Roughly a third of the time the favorite wins, and roughly, I think it's about 68% that one of the top 3 choices will win. But
how do you choose your selections? Now, do you go by jockey? Do you go by the weight? How do you choose? I go by the name. I'm like, it's a cool name. I'm going to pick that one. So
well, you know what's funny is, first of all, if that's what you like to do, that's fine. I bring friends to the races with me, or to the, you know, one of our branches, maybe down to the teletheater or something like that. We'll have lunch. And my friends are all kind of, you know, that they're not following racing, and they, you know, they'll be like, this is kind of embarrassing, but, you know, gee, I like that name. I'm like, well, bet it.
Yeah, and sometimes it comes out.
Because you just never know.
Yeah.
I usually go, there are a couple of different, depending on the type of race it is, there are a couple of different things I look for. You know, I like to see horses that the top jockeys have chosen to ride, because the really good jockeys can pick and choose.
So sometimes you go by the good jockeys.
Those
so give us a little.
And some of the trainers, every now and then you'll see, if you read the past performances, every now and then you'll see trainers that use certain patterns that seem to repeat. You know, they might give a horse a little bit of time off, maybe send him to the farm, bring him back, and maybe if it's a horse that likes to run in long races,
or sometimes if it's muddy,
races, they might bring him back in a sprint. And just to kind of give him that little tightener, just a little, a little bit more effort than a workout. Then the next time they bring him back, they've got him back in at 9 furlongs. They got his favorite jockey back on. All the conditions are right for him. Those are the kinds of things I'm looking for. And you find those little patterns and those kinds of things. And what the trainers do, a lot of handicappers will tell you, you got to handicap the human element to trainers almost as much as the horses.
But you have just as much of a chance, I think, a lot of times with just picking your favorite number, don't you?
Oh, sure. I have a very good friend who went to the races with me a couple of summers ago, and she is she visits France regularly. She speaks French and she just really enjoys all things French. And it happened that year that Julien Leparoux was riding and winning a lot of races. And there were a couple of French-bred horses and so forth on the day's card. And she bet every horse Julien Leparoux rode, and she bet every horse that was bred in France or had ever raced in France. And she had a great day. That's the thing. I mean, if you're going to go to the track or you're going to come to one of our OTB branches, you don't necessarily have to be
an expert.
You don't have to be studying the paper every day.
You don't have to spend a ton of money. You can just have fun doing what you're doing. Now, give us a little tip. Who's the hot jockey right now that you would recommend?
Oh, the hottest rider in New York, without a doubt, is Ramon Dominguez. He won last year. He won the Aqueduct meet, the Belmont Spring, the Saratoga, the Belmont Fall, and the Aqueduct Fall meets. He won the Aqueduct meet over the winter time, and he's probably going to win Belmont, which wraps up on Sunday before Saratoga. So he's definitely, but his horses are not, they get pretty well bet. You're not going to get a lot of, they're going to be favorites.
Now, there's a lot of talk that horse racing has gone down, that it's not as popular as it used to be. I mean, that's pretty much a fact. Do you think it'll come back up again?
It is and it isn't, because they like to talk about attendance numbers and television viewership numbers as well. But there was a time everybody likes to compare it to the 1950s. Well, in the 1950s, if you wanted to play the horses, you either had to go to the racetrack or you had to do something illegal. We don't have that concern anymore. Now you can come to a teletheater or an OTB branch. You can have an account and bet on the phone or online.
Yeah, it's quite different nowadays.
So there's a lot of people still betting. There's a lot of people still involved in following it, but they're not following it in the way that they used to, where you would have 50,000 people showing up at Belmont Park on a Friday afternoon. Now there's only 6,000 people at Belmont, and although I'd love to see track attendance, but at the same time, people are still betting, and it's the betting that supports the game, whether you're betting through OTB or visiting the track. So it has changed. Television viewership has changed.
And I think the technology has changed, and you can go online now and just bet. So you don't have to necessarily go out your house and bet. You can bet on the internet, which is fun to do. That's something fun to do.
It is fun, although I think I kind of enjoy the social aspect myself. Sitting with my friends, we like to visit a branch or an easy bet.
It's a nice outing.
And spend a little bit of time relaxing, chatting, and maybe having a lunch or a beer or something and watching all the races.
Now,